Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. I am Matt Mascarenas. This is a special edition. Well, I don't know if it's a special. It's special because this is the first one I've done in quite some time. Sports shorts right here on Elevation 5280. E5280sports.com is where you can find us. Elevation 5280 Sports and Lifestyle. Again, sports shorts. Now, right now, I'm planning on with this deal here doing this, Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays. It may be live some days, like it is today, where you guys can get in here and comment. And we are live on Facebook, Twitter, or X. Is it X now? Is that what it's called now? X platform or whatever. How that works. I don't know if I'm going to even get into that whole deal. I don't know how to. We might not, maybe not today, at some point though. But real quick before I dig into it, as I get back into the swing of doing these things, been really busy lately, so I'm kind of a little fidgety and excited to get back into doing these shows on a weekly basis, and if I can get them in there 3 times a week, because football season is starting. We got the basketball summer league just ending, and baseball, like the trade deadline right around the corner. The Rockies got a series win against the Marlins, and I think there's going to be more. There's going to be more to really get into and talk to. Today's show, before I get into all the places where you can find us and get into it. Today's show, we are going to dig into the my computer's going crazy here. Get into the NFL camp. Like, most teams are starting camp this week. Not all the teams. Well, yeah, I guess all teams are starting camp this week. So I think I just got confused there, because I feel like the Jets have been in camp for a month. They got a new quarterback, so they have to get in there and get him trained up, I guess. I don't know, but I feel like the Jets have been in camp for a month. So we're gonna try to get into the storylines, the NFL storylines that's coming down, training camp, and as all the teams get rolling. And I mean, anything outside of what the Jets are doing, we'll kind of dig into, kind of look at what we got here locally with the Denver Broncos. But and then also we'll look at summer ball has ended up last week, or the week before, I believe. Summer ball, well, it could have been last week. I can't remember exactly what day summer ball ended up with the NBA season. We'll look into that a little bit, as we got James Harden, Damian Lillard, and others that are still kind of, mainly those 2 players that are still kind of out there in limbo, don't know what's going on with them. And also Nikola Jokic decides not to play in the FIBA World Cup, and we'll get into that as well. Are you pissed off as a Nuggets fan, or do you if there's any time for the dude to take a break, is it this summer? So we'll get into that. So before we do, where you can find us, like I said earlier, mentioned earlier, e5280sports.com is where you can get the majority and all of our stuff that we have out there. Tons of stuff. Go check that out. There's Walking Dead reviews, pickleball. There's just plenty of things going on. We have Sunday shows. We pretty much have something for you every day in any type of content, and there's more coming. There's more coming. So go check out that website. Follow us on the socials at E5280 Sports on Twitter. And you can follow me at Matt Mascarenas1 on Twitter. But if you want to follow us, it's at 5280 Sports Radio. That's where you can follow us on Twitter, or we are live, or sorry, it's X. We are live on Twitter. We are live on YouTube as well. And go find us there, 5280 Sports there also. And on Facebook, go like us there at 5280 Elevation 5280 Sports there as well. I think that's it. And we will get better at that. I haven't got all my banners and everything on this on my deal here, so I got to get back up to that. So without further ado, let's get into it. What has been the biggest story in NFL free agency to this point? And for me, I've been really paying attention to, I mean, outside of what Lamar Jackson's got going on, but I've been really paying attention to what the Jets are doing. And basically, the biggest reason why is because if you look up there in the corner, you can see that number 12 jersey, Aaron Rodgers. Now, that guy doesn't exist anymore. I was joking with a buddy, and he said, he was kind of giving me crap. He's like, man, I guess all Green Bay Packer quarterbacks, they grow up to be New York Jets, and then they retire into Minnesota Vikings. And it's kind of true, because Favre immediately went to the Jets, not by that was kind of a decision just to get rid of it. But this one was a little bit different than that. But Favre went to the Jets after he left the Packers, and he went to the Vikings. So in that sense, it's kind of funny, silly if you want to look at it like that. But he shows up there. It was a big ordeal getting to Aaron Rodgers. It was an issue for a while to even get him, because there was trade. I like the way I can remember the trade was it feels like the Packers came out. It was like the Jets didn't have. It felt like the Jets got. I wouldn't say fleeced, because that could go. You could look at that different ways, but the Jets wanted Aaron Rodgers, and they were going to do whatever the heck they needed to do to get Aaron Rodgers. They sign all of his players. Lazard's there, Cobb's there. There was speculation of OBJ going there. So from that standpoint, I'm looking at it like the Jets had to do what they did in order to get Rodgers. They had to give up that much to get him. And the Packers were kind of sitting there like they could have just, got whatever the hell they could have held out. And I mean, you would have had disgruntled people on both ends of the floor. So it would have been a kind of a jacked up thing to do, but they could have held out for much more. So Aaron Rodgers gets there, and it's kind of like, it's weird to see him there. And I don't know what kind of vibe he's going to have there, because I'm not going to say that the Jets I don't think the Jets are that much better than the Packers are as a team. Even if you put if you just compare the teams without Aaron Rodgers, I don't know if I would say that. Last year with the Packers, I am a Packers fan, as you can tell. I got or you can't see my cheese head anyway. I got the Packers jersey in the corner. I didn't feel like that team was bad last year. That it was off. Whatever it was with Aaron Rodgers in that whole situation, it had to be over and had to be done. I'm glad it's done now, but it had to be done sooner than later. And I'm curious now to look back on it, is because Hackett went to Denver, and then the whole thing with it, like Rodgers was supposed to go there with Hackett. But what happened was Hackett goes to New York this year, and then Rodgers follows Hackett. So I don't understand. It was supposed to happen last year. So from the terms of from the point of view of the Green Bay Packers, all this was supposed to be done last year. Rodgers was supposed to come here with Hackett, but for some reason he wanted to because it just made sense. Devontae Adams leaves. Why would Aaron Rodgers want to stay there? He's not going to be there throughout that year. Why would he want to stay there? So he left one season too late. He should have been gone last year, and he should have came to Denver. Like that's what should have happened, but it didn't. And what cracks me up is that there's people that are still saying, "Oh, Hackett is here and that's a boost to Aaron Rodgers or Aaron Rodgers be or Hackett going to New York is a boost to get like there's still talk about that. And even when there's people I saw it this morning, they're running down the Jets, how the Jets can be good. I think that division's going to be probably one of the best in the NFL. And I don't think the Jets are going to be I don't we'll get to that, but I don't know how good the Jets are going to be this year. I don't think they're going to be that as good as everybody says they are because you are getting a dude that likes to have things a certain way and that wants to have things a certain way. And I don't know how long that what is it? What is it when you get married? The honeymoon period. I don't know how long that's going to be for Aaron and the Jets. I don't know because it was just weird how everything went down last year, even the year before that, the season before that. And then now you're looking there, you got and as far as fantasy football goes, the Jets could be very, very with Wilson. They're developing. I feel like they're getting kind of a camaraderie going with the him and that young wide receiver. So that could be, but I don't know outside of that. I don't know. So that's a big storyline looking at the camp. He came in, he had an ankle injury or a foot injury. He was dealing with that, had to get through that. He's pissed off that Hard Knocks is going to be there. So that's going to be an issue for him. The dude spent a couple days or however long it was. I can't remember how long he was. It 2-3 days he spent in total darkness. And then now you're going to have cameras watching everything that he's going to be doing. And then the Jets come back and say that they're not going to allow the cut scenes when the players get cut. And that's one of the biggest draws to this show is watching those players get cut or watching that stuff happen. So I'm telling you, man, I and then Hackett there. This is going to get Hackett another coach. If Rodgers is successful in New York with the Jets, and that means going to the playoffs, having a decent playoff run, that would make him successful in my eyes. That's going to get Hackett potentially another coaching job. I don't know if that dude, man. Whew, I know I don't want to go head back and beat a dead horse, but there's a lot going into what I saw here, what we saw here. That man, whew, I don't know if that dude is head coaching material, and this might get Hackett another head coaching job if the Jets are good, which is scary to think about that. Is he a good coordinator? Is he a good football coach? Sure. Yeah, you could tell he is. But is he a head coach? I don't think so. So I don't this might do a lot of things with that. But the Hard Knock stuff is going to be very interesting to me because I'm curious. I'm very curious how that looks with a guy who already can't stand media, already can't stand cameras, already can't stand all that stuff, even though he loves to chum it up. You see him in the golf tournaments, you see him in this Taylor Swift concert. So I'm curious, very, very curious how this turns out for him. Very curious in the Jets team as a whole. But we'll stay right there in the in the NFC or the AFC East. And you have Buffalo and you have Miami. And I think the wild card in this division, we know what Buffalo's going to do. I'm curious to see if Josh Allen, like, I'm not going to be one of those guys to ask him to take the next step in the playoffs or to beat the team, get the win to get you there because he really hasn't done that. The dude balls out in a lot of football games. There's something missing there with Buffalo. Stephon Diggs isn't happy. There's issues with Stephon Diggs. I think that running game's going to be better. I think that running game's going to be a lot better there. And I think they need to let the running back run the ball a little bit more instead of having your franchise quarterback look, I know the dude can take it, but you take too many of those, and that's what happens. You get down towards the end of the season and the dude's worn down and he doesn't have enough to push it past to where he needs to go to get to that next level. And whether it's a playoff berth or a Super Bowl berth, or I'm sorry, AFC championship win and a Super Bowl berth. So Buffalo has their issues there. You look at Miami. Is Tua Tagovailoa going to stay healthy? Is he going to stay? Is he going to stay away from the concussions? Is he going to stay upright? Is Mike McDaniel going to have something? Is he going to smack that vape and come up with a way to make sure that Tua Tagovailoa stays upright and doesn't take hits? Because I think that's what you're making. You're going to have to do we're going to have to integrate what Tua Tagovailoa does well without having him get out on the edge and make those plays, because I think he's just going to keep getting hurt out there, and he's not going to have a very long career. With that, you got Vic Fangio there in the mix now, and we don't know, because what we saw before that with God, who was there? Who was the coach there before that? He was a defensive minded coach. He had the big ordeal. His name is skipping me right now. If somebody is here watching, hit me on the chat. Well, I know you know who I'm talking about. That was a more defensive-minded football team. Well, when Mike Daniel took over, that the defense kind of went out the window a little bit. So with Vic Fangio there, I'm very, very curious to see if that defense, gets a boom. It's still a good defense schematically and with the players there. And we know what Vic Fangio's. Brian Flores. There we go. Thanks, Lucas. My brother popping in. There's still that option that that defense can still be good and can back up with. We know that offense with Tyreek Hill. We know what that offense is going to do. We know what that offense is going to do with Mike McDaniel at the helm. And he's going to come up with something, but he's got to keep Tua upright. He's got to keep him away from getting hurt. He's got to do that. But I think they're going to be hell in that division. That division, I'm not going to call. I think it looks more like to be the toughest division in the NFL. I mean, there's some other divisions we're going to get into. The more I get into this, the more I try to break this stuff down. But as far as right now, what I see with that AFC East is I don't think the Jets are the taste of it. I think it's Buffalo, then it's Miami, and then I think New England. You're having an offensive coordinator that is going to be calling plays. I don't even know who the hell called plays last year. I couldn't tell you. It was a combination of I wasn't it Patricia and then and Belichick, and I don't know who was calling him last year, but you got an OC back there calling plays. So that's good. Mac Jones, I don't know. I'm not going to say the jury's still out on him because he was a second year. He was in his second year last year. He's going to be in third year. You would expect him to take some steps forward. You would expect him to kind of have a little bit more of a more consistent consistent year this year. Especially, there was times Mac Jones was telling the OCers to get out of here. We got it. And he's a second year guy calling this. The offensive side of the football was so screwed up over there when Josh McDaniels left. It got jacked up. And when it comes to that whole situation, you can't. I think it was Belichick was like, he was in the middle because with him still being there, you have to count the Patriots as a team that again, I look at them as a wild card because they can do. There's they can be right up there or they can be at the bottom of the pack. But with Bill Belichick, you know that kind of team and the kind of football they're going to play. DeAndre Hopkins might have went there. He was thinking about going there. If he would have went there, holy smokes, I think that would have put them in possibly a different situation if Mac Jones took that next step this year. But we'll see. I think that team right there could surprise a lot of folks this year, and it's because there's an OC there. There's that running game is going to be consistent. The way that they're going to do things is going to be consistent. you're going to look back and see things that they're going to look more like I'm not going to say when Tom Brady was there, but they're going to look more like a Matt Castle, like that kind of situation where it's like you plug and play a guy, and that's you're getting a system guy back there. You're getting a system guy back there, and I think that's going to benefit the Patriots with who already has Bill Belichick there to lead the way. So I just when I look at that division, I don't know. There's way too many question marks surrounding Aaron Rodgers. There's way too many questions marks surrounding that football team in general. So with the Jets, I can't just slot them right in there. And then also too, think about this. Is Aaron Rodgers a playoff performer? I'll be the first person to say no, he's not. He's let me down several times in the playoffs. Several times. San Francisco, Colin Kaepernick, Russell Wilson running all over. There's so many. I can go on and on and on. Jimmy Garoppolo beating him. I can go on about the disappointment in the playoffs that Aaron Rodgers has put me and Packers fans through. So you can't say that he's just because he goes to the Jets. Robert Saleh is going to change his mind. Robert Saleh is gonna have him locked in. He's with Hackett again. Hackett's going to have him locked in. I sound like a New York Jets hater. I just don't think it's going to. I think that they're getting a diva in New York. He's a different kind of diva. He's a gypsy diva. I don't even know if I can use that word, but he's you got to keep him. I mean, you got to keep him going, and he's going to be playing with more of these young guys. When last year he was pissed off at the young guys. There's too many question marks there with Aaron Rodgers. And like I said before, I don't count him as a big-time playoff quarterback. I don't count him as a big-time playoff a performer because he let me down way too many times in the playoffs. I can't say that. Is he one of the greatest quarterbacks ever? Yes. I will say that. One of my favorite quarterbacks? Yes. He only got one Super Bowl. Should have a lot more. You can blame McCarthy on that. Who at some point this week, probably on Wednesday, we'll get into the Dallas Cowboys, who I've seen that. You can blame Mike McCarthy on that, but Rodgers had his chances when Mike McCarthy left, and he couldn't pull the trigger. He couldn't get it done. So very interesting there with the NFC East or AFC East and Aaron Rodgers situation. I'm going to take a pause for the cause real quick, come back, finish up the show here with some Nikola Jokic NBA talk. Actually, real quick before I get out of here, or before I'm not going to take a break here. I was going to take a little break, but I think I could keep going. We're okay. We're going to keep going here. 5 more minutes, and then I'll take a little break. The Denver Broncos. Now, I'm going to dig into Denver Broncos. Each show, I like to cover a lot of stuff, even though here we're locally, Rocky Mountain show, Denver, Colorado show, Broncos, Nuggets, Rockies, Avs, Rapids, whatever we got going here. Plenty more, the college, high school, stuff like that. We'll get into all that, but I like to talk about everything. But I will try to throw in the local stuff, especially the Broncos. I'll tell you right now, I'm not a huge Bronco fan. There was a time, 2005, I was emotionally invested into the Denver Broncos. That's the last time I was emotionally invested in the Denver Broncos. Right now, I want the hometown team to win. The hometown team's the Denver Broncos because everybody's happy when the hometown team is doing good. This season, I might become more invested. And the biggest reason why I might become more invested is because finally they have a head coach who is a football coach, who has been a head coach before, who has ran a program before, who has managed a team, managed a program, managed a business before, in Sean Payton. That's different than what they've had in here since John Fox, maybe, but I would say all the way back to what Mike Shanahan did. This is the closest thing they've had since Mike Shanahan. And you remember how good we were and how much we won then? I think the Broncos, I think the Broncos are going to have that kind of resurgence. I really do. Because the way that this team has been handled up to this point has been handled like somebody who knows how to manage and run a franchise and a team. That's what this looks like. And I love it. I love the way that feels. I love the way that looks. It's not a big fun party time deal like it was with Hackett. It's not a grumpy, you can't, wear your shoes in the house. I mean, a lot of people take their shoes off in that. It wasn't as strict or grumpy or as it was with Grandpa Fangio there. It wasn't they took away, all kinds of fun things, no music. It's not gonna be like that. It's gonna be similar to that, I think, but I think it's gonna be more organized as far as they'll be there might there it'll be more adaptable to what the players like to do nowadays. And it's not gonna be as I guess who's who when it was, Vance Joseph, John Elway, mix of Vance Joseph, John Elway, like because John Elway, I think, has been the face of this franchise since Peyton Manning left. And even before that, it was John Elway or Peyton Manning. After Mike Shanahan was fired, you went through the Josh McDaniel stuff. It was John Elway and Peyton Manning that were the faces. So the general manager, president, whatever hell titles John Elway had, it was his face that was on it. Now, Sean Payton, little bit of Russell Wilson, but it's more Sean Payton. It's going to be Sean Payton who's the face of this whole team, this franchise going forward. It's going to be Sean Payton. And I think that's going to take this team to where they were in the the late 90s, in the early 2000s to mid 2000s. I think this is where it's going to take this team. I think Russell Wilson's going to have a bounce back year because of Sean Payton effect. And I don't really know exactly, there's as far as the what we're going to see and what we're going to get into. But I think training camp's going to be a lot more structured. It's going to look more like somebody that is running a it's going to look a lot different than it has in the past years. It just really is. It already has that look where the media, and I've read something, I heard it on radio, and I read something that somebody was telling on fans, or there was some issues with the media person. That was it, and that's going to hurt the access to this team even more if you got people like that doing that. That was kind of funny. But you see less and less things floated out there, or less. There's not as many stooges out there that can blow out news and stuff like that. So this team is going to look a lot different. It's going to be a lot more structured. It's sure. I'm sure Sean Payton's going to have some kind of rust, maybe when he gets into the game situation, pregame. The preseason's going to look a lot more. I'm going to say structured again because they're going to be out there trying to accomplish things. There's going to be lists. There's going to be things that they're going to check off through preseason. They're going to be putting themselves into situations. They're going to be looking at situations. There's even during training camp, there's going to be different things. I'm excited about it. I really am. So with that in mind, I think they start tomorrow, don't they? The 25th, I think the Broncos start. So we'll look into that more. I'll cover that more on Wednesday after their day gets done. But like I said, I'm gonna get out of here real quick for a break, grab something to drink, wet my whistle, and then be back here to close out the show. So those of you that are watching, stand by. I'll be back in a jiffy. And we're back. I pressed the button wrong. Anyway, back to it here on Sports Shorts. Elevation 5280 Sports and Lifestyle. E5280sports.com is where you can find us and all the stuff that we do. So, as we get back into it, the NBA season ended up with your Denver Nuggets, yours and mine. Well, I don't know if it's yours, but it's my Denver Nuggets, the NBA champions. Summer League went through. Pretty good summer league. Denver had probably one of the best summer leagues. Well, I shouldn't say one of the best summer leagues, but as far as well, let me rewind that. Off season was very adventurous this year with the NBA. A lot of big contracts handed out. People getting better. I thought I would see more bigs being added, but the only big that was really added to the Western Conference outside of Bowl was the Hayes from went to the Lakers. Add another body to throw at Joker. That's basically what that was. So that's what I look at it as being. But it was interesting because you saw a lot of teams go the way of building through the draft, go the way of getting better, getting younger. I'm not going to say that the super team is done, that we're never going to see a super team again, because I'm sure that we at some point we will. There's some of these guys, their contracts are coming up that are going to move, going to want to go to a contender to win a title. But as far as the super teams, the way they used to be, and that's also because of the way the money's going to be, but still, I think that mindset is going to go away. I think what you're going to see and what you're going to run into is you're going to run into kind of a situation of maybe one or two superstars, but you're going to really draft and draft picks are going to start to mean a lot. And it's not just because of the way the NBA or the mindset changing, it's because of the kids that we got coming up. There's a lot of good basketball players out there. A lot. And I think we're going to we're hitting an era, or we're going to hit something to where we're going to see a run of just talented basketball players and the more developed basketball players. They're going overseas. They're playing basketball all year long. There's tournaments. There's so many options, so many ways to get basketball in that it's the youth movement is going to be strong, and it's going to be for a while, I think. The Nuggets got some pretty good youth guys. They got pretty youth guys. They got some pretty good young players this year. They did pretty well. They did pretty well. The biggest issue that I've seen so far with the NBA in this offseason is Harden and Dame Lillard. Damian Lillard his whole situation is he did this way too late. He did this want to be traded out, demand a trade. He did it way too late. He's a victim of that. If he would have done it, when Durant was doing it, when like that's when he should have did it, when Kyrie did it the year before last. He should have did it in 2019, 2020 is when Damian Lillard should have opted out or said, "Hey, I want to be traded." They're not going to build a team around, not in Portland. Not yet. Not the way they thought they had Nurkic there. There was a couple options. There was CJ McCollum that was there. They got rid of him. They tried. Dame tried. When CJ got traded, that's when it was like, all right, the next trade is going to be Dame. He should have asked out then. So his situation, he's just in a bad time. Miami with the trade that Miami wants to offer Portland, they don't want anything to do with it. They're not interested in Tyler Hero, from the way I understand it. They're interested in Duncan Robinson, anything like that. At this point, you would almost have to look at maybe trading Adebayo. If you really want Damian Lillard, you're going to have to trade Adebayo. It might be. Maybe you can get Yusuf to come back with you on that. I mean, Miami's got a Jokic there that maybe could be a big that they can look at. But I think if Miami really wants to get Damian Lillard, they're going to have to trade Bam Adebayo too. Bam's going to have to go. And I don't know if Portland's even asked for that. I don't know if Portland wants that, but I think that would spice it up this deal. So you have that situation with Dame Lillard. Just just bad timing. And he's adamant that he wants to go to Miami. That's again, bad timing. He could have done this a couple years ago if it's Miami or another team. Probably could have got what he wanted, but bad timing. The James Harden stuff is funny. That whole Philadelphia situation is screwy. And it goes back again to, how in the hell did it just goes back again and it shows you how I shouldn't say how in the hell did he, because we all know how he did win MVP, but how it got that point, and you got to blame people in the media. The Philadelphia 76ers are an absolute dumpster fire. They fire the coach because James Harden couldn't play with him, couldn't get along with him. They get rid of him. They get a coach in here that's presumably going to work, going to be a James Harden wanting, whatever. Now James Harden's getting fat, eating cheeseburgers, going crazy. Demands a trade, wants out. Wants to go to LA. Wants to go to Clippers. And then you got Embiid laying on his couch, all relaxed. I could be here. When being asked if they wants to win a championship, he just wants to win a championship. I don't know have the exact things that he said, but it was something along the lines of whether it's here or whether it's somewhere else. I want to be on a champ. I need more players. We need more guys. We need the right guys. And then something comes out from Morey. They're saying that Embiid wants to be one of those players like a Kobe, like who else? Like a Michael Jordan that stays in the same place. Well, that example is Nikola Jokic. That's your example now. That whole situation, and then now Harden wants to leave. So I don't know if Embiid. Number one, Embiid's not a guy that you build a team around and he takes you to the championship. There's so many examples of how he's not that guy, right? Just this year. Just this year. So I don't know if you're Philly, I don't know if you want to deal with that anymore, especially after what he just said. I don't know how you want to deal with that. And then James Harden doesn't even go to his wedding, supposedly, and he's out eating hamburgers, just getting arms full of hamburgers. Go look it on Twitter X. Go check that out. He's got a handful of hamburgers. I should have got that picture here to put it here. Maybe I'll have it for next time. And he's not at Embiid's wedding. So that whole situation there is screwy. It's so screwy. And it sounds like, Philadelphia wants Man in that trade to LA and they don't want to give him up. And then now Harden wants to go back there and play with Russell Westbrook. Like this is the last of it, I think. I really do think it is the last of it. Again, you might have a player like that, like Kyrie might want out again, Kevin Durant might want out again. I don't know. But as far as the mass exodus of superstars and that wanting to go and join teams, I don't think you're going to see that much anymore. I don't. And because how all this is going to shake out. You got two players wanting to go to one place only, and those players don't want to be, and those teams don't want to trade for anything. They want certain things. And then you're going to have disgruntled fat players trying to play basketball until he gets traded. It's crazy. It's crazy. And then you have Nikola Jokic, the reigning Finals MVP, the reigning Western Conference MVP, reigning NBA champion Nikola Jokic. I love Nikola Jokic. Decides he's not going to play for his country, for Serbia, in the FIBA Basketball World Cup. And if you guys don't know what that is, it's very similar to FIFA. It comes around and it's kind of a big deal. It's a world basketball thing. It's a big deal. I think the last time they played it was in 2019, I want to say. Something was it 2019 or 2020? I can't remember exactly the last time they played it. Somebody hit me on the comments if there's anybody still hanging in here with me. Maybe my brother's still in here. Maybe he knows. I don't know exactly those dates. Again, we're all reaction. Very, very little research here. So people are kind of upset about this. That Nikola Jokic is foregoing this year. And if you want my opinion, it's if there's any year that this dude deserves or shouldn't be questioned, if he decides not to play for his country. I understand the people there, how much it means to them and how much it means for him to play for their country. I get it. But if there's any time for him not to catch any flack, it's this year. It's this season. After everything he has done up to this season in the off seasons prior to this, that he had to go through to stay ready, to get ready, how exhausted he was, how exhausted he is. If there's any time, it's this year. It's this season. So for everybody that is busting his chops or anybody that is upset about him, and I get the patriotism part of it. I get that to wanting your country to be represented. I understand that. But you got to also understand too what that guy means to his team here in the NBA and what he has done up until this point to get his team to where they were this season. Let the guy take the summer off. Let him relax. Let him spend time with his family. That's all he wants to do. I don't think he's going to be out on a yacht and living it up. I don't think he's going to be at some big ass resort. I don't think he's going to be doing that. He's probably going to be at home with his family and his horses, drinking that Serbian whiskey. Cut him some slack, man. Cut him some freaking slack. I don't get it. I'm not down with that. I'm not down with that at all. But what I am down with is getting out of here. That's going to do it for me. Matt Mascarenas right here on Sports Shorts. E5280sports.com. Elevation 5280 Sports and Lifestyle. You got to love it. Don't forget, if you want more of this, want more of us, go to E5280sports.com. Check us out there. Blogs, articles. We got pickleball, folks. Go over there, check that out. Starting this Wednesday night, the Stranglehold returns at 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time after AEW Dynamite. I will try to come on weekly and recap wrestling. I love wrestling. I will try to do that starting this Wednesday. Look out for some more plugs and stuff like that I'm working on. And also, this show comes back Wednesday at 10:30 on the dot Mountain Standard Time. I want to say Mountain Standard Time. 10:30 Mountain Standard Time, wherever you're watching this, wherever you listen to this. Thank you very much. Again, I am Matt Mascarenas. If you want to check us out on YouTube, it's E52. It's Elevation 52 Sports. Elevation52sports.com is where you can find us there. We'll just go there and check out. I'm screwing up all the socials. If you want to find me on Twitter, X, you can do that at Matt Mascarenas1. You can find me there. But go find us wherever you want to find us, elevation58sports.com. Anyway, that'll do it for me, wrapping it up here on Sports Shorts. Thank you for tuning in again. I will see you Wednesday right here, right then. I was going to say right here, right now, but that doesn't make sense. I'm going to get out of here before I keep screwing up the English language. I love y'all. Have a great day.